Okay, another soap, another night. Actually, another soap, same night, but that's okay. Here we go. We are making Smoke and Mirrors, and I'm switching up the color on it from what I originally had poured it as, which was what I lovingly called the dirty sock. Ugly sock, excuse me. I wanted it originally to be like a green and gray, and it just came out looking like a bad knitted sock. So this time I'm going to try some black and gray swirls. I'm going to do an in the pot swirl and see if it kind of gives it a nice Smoke and Mirrors vibe. Okay, so I have heated up my oils and they are mostly dissolved. And then my lye is above room temperature because the room I am in is cold. So they're warm. They're not super warm, but they're warm. So hopefully that gets us where we need to be tonight. I am using some slate kaolin clay as my gray, and then I'm going to put some activated charcoal in this after I break off the part. The fragrance and the regular kaolin clay are already mixed up together. Yeah, let's get this show on the road. Tip it sideways so that the air bubbles come out. And let me push forward a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to tip this sideways and pour down. Hold on. I just realized I do not have eye protection on. Eye protection is important. We like our eyes. We want to be able to see in the future. Okay. Come out. There we go. Set that container aside. You will see me wiping up water. I warm my lye in a bowl of warm water. It is not lye solution that's on the counter. It's just water. So, okay, here we go. Blend. Okay, so we are at a very light trace right now. This is when I'm going to put in the kaolin, or not, yes, the kaolin clay and the fragrance. So my regular kaolin clay, not my gray. And I like to use a little spatula to get all the kaolin clay out. Okay, and set that aside. We'll mix it again oh, goodness gracious. As I've said before smacking the camera, I like to mix up my kaolin clay and fragrance solution into the container with the mixer instead of by hand, because I feel like the kaolin clay sometimes gives a pitted feel if it doesn't get well mixed. So just a couple of shots like that. Let's not smack the camera this time. And now I'm going to pour off probably about half. I think I'm going to do a half and half on this one. So this comes up to, after it's all mixed, it comes up to just about a quart. I said 1.5 liters last time. I think it's 1.5 quarts actually. So we'll do 3/4 of a quart over here. And that's not anywhere close, but we'll get there. There we go. And 3/4 of a quart left in this container. And then I will do my in the pot swirl once I get them both mixed. We'll go with that. It's a little bit not perfectly even, but I'm okay with that. Activated charcoal into that side. Okay, now we mixy. I might have pulled that away from Katie Carson on Royalty Soaps. That's what I get for watching so many of her episodes. Yeah, let me mix the colors in. I like to hand mix my stuff just because I like to be able to control the amount of trace I get. And the less you mix, the better your results usually are, unless you're looking for a nice big gloopy soap. Gloopy soap pour. This one I will end up actually mixing a little bit because again, it's kaolin clay and for some reason it just doesn't really mix well by hand, which is not a big deal. but it does look nice. And then activated charcoal. Let's get this puppy going. Let's go black, dark. Okay. And I might mix the activated charcoal by the mixer too here if it doesn't really want to blend for me, and that's okay. I mean, I'm doing it in the pot swirl. It's not really important to have a very smooth pour on them. They're just kind of, they're a crazy fun mix it and see what happens kind of situation. So, so as you can, let's watch it smoothens out. There's still going to be some bits of color fleck in this one, I have a feeling, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. Okay, and that came out way more gray than I expected it to, or sorry, way more brown than I expected it to, which is fine. I think it'll still work for what I want. And smoke can be kind of brownish, so that's okay too. Ah, that's the black I want. Okay, let me wipe down the sides real quick because I don't want to have any of the splotchy bits anywhere else. And then wipe down my spatula because I know it's got bits and pieces on it as well. You will see that I am already starting to get a nice significant trace, I guess would be the word. I almost dropped that. So you can definitely see the little splatters all over the top. It's like cake batter. Okay, and we're done mixing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pour in this back into this pot. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. And I'm gonna pick a couple of spots that I'm just gonna pour straight down into. I like to usually do like side by side or across, I mean perpendicularly. Okay, and then I'm gonna leave a little bit in this because I wanna see if I can do a design on the top. Okay, I like to give it one swirl and then we're done. That's all I'm gonna mix it. And we're just gonna pour it in and see how the cookie crumbles. And I know this probably isn't the most aesthetically pleasing way to do this for you guys, but it's a small container and it's a small soap container and it's a big pitcher. So it's a little hard. Okay. Katie Carson at Royalty Soaps has another statement and she always called it scrapey scrapey out the container. And while I don't say that out loud, it definitely comes up in my brain every once in a while. You just want to make sure that you get it all. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to tap that down a little bit, get that all nice and even on the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that last bit of the slate colored, the brownish colored drizzle, and we're going to drizzle it across the top. And then I'll do a design in it, I think. Just try to kind of make smoke rings and twirls and all those things because this is smoke and mirrors and it's deceptive. It's a really nice scent. It is musky and a little sweet, so there's a hint of something in it that just, it's really nice. This soap and my Spring Rain soap I will be doing in Soap on a Rope. Pretty excited to try that whole experience out. Oh, that one's fun. Let's do that again. Okay. And that is it. That soap is done. I will cut it tomorrow night. See you then.